guys, we're coming to you this week from the bus to bring you a little more information about our closed cell spray foam insulation. And here to lead you through that is my husband, Sven.
Hello!
And here he is!
So we chose to do closed cell spray foam because, well, in our opinion, that's the best option for a bus. That's probably a really good option for any type of insulation. And specifically closed cell spray foam because it also acts as a vapor barrier all in one. It is water impermeable, I think is the word I'm looking for. And it gets in every nook and cranny. So we called around, we got a couple of quotes, and we got a local company to come out and spray our bus ceiling as well as all the walls, which you will see in a moment here. So we'll start with cutting some plastic we had left over from another project to tape off everything. The company actually offered to do all of the taping off for us, but I wasn't so sure about if they knew every single spot I wanted to get spray foam, so I decided to tape off everything myself. So this is just super thin painter's plastic like I said, we had left over, going over all of the windows. And the back hatch, as you saw a minute ago, cutting it exactly at the line of the framed in lower part of the walls. And we just used painter's tape here, I think 1.5 or 2 inch wide, which made that process really easy. I did the same thing on the walls. I just tacked it in place, and then I went a little extreme here and put a lot of tape in, because from watching other spray foam installation videos, it became pretty clear that that stuff gets everywhere. The overspray just gets everywhere, so I wanted to make sure to spend a couple of extra minutes here and really taping it off really well, making our cleanup later much easier. So we did the same thing in the front of the cab, of course making sure that none of this nasty spray foam can get into our wiring or our dashboard. And it's the next day. Our spray foam crew arrived, I think at like 6:45 in the morning. They got straight to work. They bring everything with them in the truck. They have a generator on board, an air compressor. And here you see them actually testing out the mixture. It's a 2-part chemical, which turns into the spray foam at the time of mixing them. And here you see kind of them dialing in their equipment, which was kind of pretty cool. So we had the time-lapse video set up from the back of the bus. It was still pretty dark when they got started, but they wasted no time and got straight to work. Here he had a little mistake and had to rip it out before it hardened. I'm assuming it didn't adhere and bowed up above the wheel well. You saw here his partner every now and then points out little spots with the laser pointer. And he's taking his time to really get every little nook and cranny in every wall panel we wanted insulated. So they actually ended up insulating behind this lower steel wall panel you saw, as well as on top of it. So we ordered 2 inches of closed cell spray foam. We ended up having a little bit more in some spots, just because of the way the walls were laid out. You also see here on the roof, we have every metal rib on the roof covered with a 1x3 wood, which we steam bent. Actually, you can watch that in a different video. And they're making really good progress here going through the entire bus. His partner, again, touching up a couple of things in the back. Actually, he came in, this was really funny. We were all wearing respirators and whatnot, and at some point he came in and just started having a sandwich in the back while his colleague was spraying the front of the bus. So I don't know if that's a good thing to do, but he did it anyway. It actually didn't off-gas too much. I was in there a couple of times with the respirator, and when I was just sticking in my head without it, you could hardly even smell it. The stuff hardens to the touch in a matter of a couple of seconds, actually. I think in a minute after they sprayed it, it's pretty hard already. So they say that it can off-gas up to 24 hours after the spraying is done, but again, they didn't seem too worried about it. And at the end of spraying everything, they gave us a chance to walk through and tell them where we wanted to have it touched up. So I just grabbed this can of spray paint and marked all of the spots I wanted him to put a little bit more spray foam on. His colleague did the same thing. He walked through and pointed out any imperfections. And what was also cool is that they offered from the beginning to spray the underneath of our staircase. And then we went into cleanup mode. They just started taking up all of the covers we put up. We also had tape over all of the ceiling joists if you want. 4 hours later. So here you see it still has a couple bumps because this is closed cell spray foam. Removing it is actually kind of hard. So what we ended up doing is they ended up cutting a couple of pieces out already where it very clearly stuck out, but we needed to be flush with the framing very precisely to put in the ceiling. So I made a makeshift blade for the Sawzall, which ended up not really working, but we tried it. We now know what doesn't work. And so the second approach to actually get this stuff cleaned off was simply by taking an angle grinder with a wire wheel on it and going over all of the spots. You see me here having a piece of wood to slide along our ribs and marking all of the high spots, again with spray paint, and then just grinding them down. This was a real nasty job, so I made sure I was covered head to toe. I had a ski mask on, I had ski goggles on, I had a 3M respirator on and a Tyvek suit to really make sure this stuff did not get anywhere. And here you see it was just a huge mess. But it came out pretty good. The ceiling now looks a little worse than it did before because of all of the spray paint residue. But everything was flush and we were ready to clean up the mess I created.
So with that, our spray foaming was finished, and all in all, it was a pretty painless process. As you can see, above us, we already have a little bit of our ceiling. So stay tuned next week, and we're gonna bring you our ceiling wood video.